everywhere that I go, that I bring my husband, everyone is just raving about his content. It's like a behind the scenes look, kind of like a funny take on all of my antics. So, and our antics as a couple now. So we're gonna bring him out and he's gonna do a little interview today so you can get some behind the scenes looks.
Antics? You don't have any antics?
Me, never, no.
All right, you are my chief health officer, our chief health officer.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to interview you. So when we started dating, I gave up Diet Coke.
I know, I forgot about this actually until
Well, I did not forget about this.
I know, I forgot about Diet Coke even existing, to be honest with you. And then today on an interview, we're going to New York for a bunch of press. They're like, how have you been doing without Diet Dr. Pepper? And I'm like, oh my gosh, so how have you been doing?
Okay, I'm interviewing you, but I've been okay. But here's my question. It's been hard, but it's okay. I have Poppy and Olipop,
Yes.
which is a further question. But
that goes in the bad section of the fridge.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Okay, my question is there anything I'm doing right now that you wish I would give up?
Yes.
That might not, well, yeah, I know. But hopefully it's not as bad as the Diet Coke, which I've already given up.
Yes.
But what thing right now could I love you more by giving up for the betterment of our collective health? I'm not saying I'm going to, I just want to know to mentally prepare myself.
Okay, well, I love that question, so thank you. I think we both know already. I've brought it up a few times, in conversation. So Warren likes to have—
Is it the popcorn?
Yeah, Warren likes to have a post-meal snack, right? And ideally, I actually wish we ate earlier. So we're eating at 5:30, we're done eating before the sun goes down, but then you have this, post-dinner snack.
It's an extension of dinner. I'm continuing my dinner.
Okay, so we put on a level glucose monitor last week, but we saw things didn't look great.
It spiked.
Yeah, it spiked.
Okay, so what are you saying?
So for optimal metabolic health, we really should be done with dinner, done all eating. In general, I don't love popcorn as a food in general. So it is organic, it is, no sugar, all of that stuff. But
what's the problem?
Because when we think about food, every piece should be, is this really benefiting my biology, or is it not really doing too much, or is it harming my biology? So I would put this in the bucket of not doing much, potentially more gearing on the side of a little bit harmful.
If it brings me joy, is that a benefit?
That's a great question. I have really tried to train myself to not allow food to bring me joy. So I would recommend we continue to develop that.
What you're saying is there's no micronutrients.
Yes, there's no.
But if I'm taking all these pills that have micronutrients, what you're saying is popcorn is still bad because it's just carbs and that's it.
Yeah, it's just a blood sugar spike, essentially.
Okay, so of all the things I do right now, that would be the number one thing that you would want me to give up.
Yes.
All right, so my worst habit right now to you would be the popcorn eating, which you would say is late at night, but I would say it's just after dinner at like 6 to 7. So on that note of time eating, I don't ever want to be the reason that you or we are not as healthy as we can be. So if I were able to opt into any schedule that you create, the perfect schedule, what time would you want to be done eating, and actually want to be done eating? Would you be done eating at 3? At 5, at 1, realistically?
Yeah, I would love to experiment with being done eating at 2 p.m. Just to see what happens. We know that the earlier that we stop eating, the better our sleep is.
Yeah.
But I would be willing to, land somewhere 3:30. We actually have been eating even earlier. So, and I feel great about that.
At 4:30 sometimes.
Yeah, we've been eating at around 4:30 lately.
Well,
I really enjoyed that.
The problem is we'll eat at 4:30, but then you're done at 4:40, but I'm still eating for an hour because I'm a slow eater.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is being done eating by 4:30.
Yeah.
Okay, and why do we want to be done eating at 4:30?
Because essentially the earlier you can stop eating, it allows your body to completely digest that food, so your body doesn't have to focus on that during sleep. And also food is a signal to your body to release melatonin. So people that are eating when melatonin should be released, which we're not at 5:30, but you give your body more time to digest, and also you can get a lower resting heart rate before bed. We know that getting a lower resting heart rate prior to bed is going to significantly help your sleep.
So would we get better sleep if we were done eating at 2?
I think so, yeah. Again, it's a test, like an experiment we have to try, but yeah, I think so.
So if we did an experiment, how many days would be a worthwhile experiment? Like 3?
30.
30?
Yeah.
30 days, we can't get a sample size after 10?
We could, but just for, really to have, I think, a solid result for both of us, 30 days would be good.
Okay, let's say we do an experiment and we land on 3 p.m. But let's say we have kids and they need to eat. So how would we gonna do this with kids and be done eating at 3?
We would be done eating at 3, the kids would eat later.
They'd be eating and I wouldn't be eating?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Wait, I have a question for you now.
Okay.
So what's been the best and worst thing about all the changes that you made, or the changes that you made?
Wow. All right, well, the best is finishing eating for the day and going to bed earlier. I'm someone who can binge a show till midnight, and I love great shows and movies and books, and my brain just keeps going. You will turn off and pass out at like 9. So choosing to do that with you and not do my own thing, at least the vast majority of the time, going to bed together, if I can physically be asleep by 9 to 9:30, which is what I've been doing, that's been a game changer. Because then I wake up with no alarm between 4 and 5, and then I just start my day, and I feel so good on that schedule. It's been really hard because it's the opposite of what I've been doing for over many years before we met. But that's probably the best and most exciting change. The most difficult, honestly, is because we have a standard that's so high with the food that we eat and put in our bodies, it's actually really annoying to find restaurants or grocery stores that have food that's at our quality. So obviously there's a grocery store here that we found that we like, but there's not a ton of restaurants. A lot of them, we don't know. I still have glyphosate that we're trying to detox me from. Maybe that's more so the water. But the food source, I feel like that's going to be an ongoing situation. Maybe one day we'll grow our own food and we'll just be able to see exactly what we're eating. But even then, it's we want good beef and grass-fed, grass-finished.
And it's wrapped in plastic sometimes at our favorite grocery store.
Yeah.
And it's the whole thing.
So I think navigating the world we live in for the standards that we want for ourselves, that's been more annoying. Because if you're not in this world, you think, oh, Whole Foods, it's healthy. It's no. Even Whole Foods is horrible oftentimes. If you go to their cafe, it's okay, this isn't organic, this isn't healthy meat. So that's been a little tricky. I think socially, that's not as big of a deal, but it is annoying because if there's people that are, oh, this event or dinner is at this restaurant, it's okay, well, we're gonna pre-eat before the dinner and not eat the dinner. That's optimal, unfortunately. So that's been some getting used to. But there's really nothing that's horrible.
Do you like doing all this stuff?
Yeah, I love it. What do you mean?
Okay. Well, sometimes we get comments on the internet that
I don't care about those comments.
No, I know you don't care about the comments, but for anyone that has commented thinking that this is unromantic or that I'm creating these insane protocols.
No, I would not change a thing about this. Okay. I am not just in love with you, but I love that we're living this life and being healthy. This is what I want. Even before I met you, I was tracking, okay, last night I slept for 6 hours and 17 minutes and I felt an 8 out of 10. I had my Excel grid. It's not like I came into this at a 0. I was already doing it a little bit. Even before we met, I thought to myself, what if I lived my life in a way where every decision was optimal and beneficial and not negative? Because so many micro decisions, we know it's neutral, we were talking about earlier, or the popcorn, negative. So what if we just changed every decision? So no, having someone like you who's doing this that can help me do it is huge because it is a lot to do on your own. Yeah. At least, okay, so when we got married, I told Kayla, you're the chief health officer of our marriage. So sometimes if I don't have time to do all the research, I'm just gonna trust you and go with what you're saying. And then I'll have other roles over here, but it's helpful that you handle that part of our lives, and it's a huge blessing for me, because now I don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have my own built-in coach, nutrition expert, fitness, everything. Sometimes I'm not in the mood to always talk about it, so I'm can we talk about this in the marriage meeting, because I don't want to feel guilty right now. But But no, I mean, I don't care about those comments. They don't know how awesome this is.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. But the also thing, to be honest, like I can't think of, as a wife, I can't think of a single more loving thing that I could be doing to express my love. Not only is this like my professional and personal interest, but it's also me loving you the best I can, because I am, yes, doing these things that some people may perceive as hard. And maybe when we look at your labs and we make changes, they might not be the most fun, but it's trying to get us both to the most optimal state.
Yes, and on that note, my love language is acts of service. So when you do the supplements for me for the week and do all the bottles and kind of prepare all my little canister things, like that is a way that I feel loved, because that's a task that you did for me that I no longer have to do, which is huge, because we both have a ton to do. Jonas, do you have any questions for Kayla?
Imagine your kid is invited to a birthday party, and then during the birthday party they have birthday cake and dinner, because the birthday party goes to like 6 p.m. Just also from own experiences.
Yeah.
Like I've experienced those, right? Like how would you navigate that if you want to protect your kid as much as possible?
Yeah. So one thing that I told Warren really early on, I'm gonna try to like reduce my, need for control, like when we have children, but I always said that I want to have a huge house so we can host everyone at our place. So as much as humanly possible, I want to host the events, because then we can still have a birthday cake, but it can be, no sugar, it can be organic, it can be like the whole 9 yards, kind of like our wedding cake. Our wedding cake was like that. So ideally, we host everything here.
But if it's someone else's birthday?
If it's someone else's birthday, I think I'm bringing my own birthday cake, and I'm taking all the snacks.
Wait, that's not gonna happen. When I think of our kids and how they're gonna eat, like as long as we train them in a way of looking at food as like the quality of fuel you're putting into your body, I think that's a good foundation, because they're gonna eventually have to eat things and taste things that we would not eat. But hopefully when they do that, when they get a stomach ache, they'll then realize, and we can then encourage them and say, yeah, that's like putting really bad gasoline in the car. It's not, the engine's gonna, not operate well. Like, do you like how you feel right now?
Yeah.
No, well, you can make your decisions. Like, there's gonna be an element where they get their own agency and have to figure out, oh, I'm 10 years old at a sleepover and there's all this pizza and ice cream.
Yeah. No, I mean, I was partially joking, but yeah, I think
Partially.
like also maybe showing them, I think, like a better snack. So instead of like a candy bar, you can say, okay, I'll make a date with maybe a little bit of like, tahini or some cashew butter, and then do like a super dark chocolate over it. Like say, look, this is what you could have. This is the other option you could have. This is 3 ingredients. This is 45. And this is going to be a lot better for your health. But I think education in general, we got asked this question earlier today in this interview that we're about to do. I think educating them, focusing on the basics with their kids, things like movement and going on long walks with them watching us work out, them going outside for the sun, and us teaching them about food and the benefits it could have and also the detriments it could have.
But how old are our kids gonna be where we trust them to go off and make their own eating decisions?
I don't know. That's a good question. What do you think?
I mean, I think they're gonna have to do it early on and just, kind of learn for themselves.
I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, Brian Johnson's kid's 18 and he's like all in on Blueprint. So I think if we instill the right values, I'm not saying that they're never gonna like go away and try and experiment with things, but I think if we lead by example, that there's a good chance that and at least, bare minimum, we're gonna try to equip them with as much health as babies, and like even my health before pregnancy, that they're at least gonna have like a better, position, be in a better position than.
Yeah, I mean, based on the amount of kids we want, there's probably gonna be some that love it and are healthy, and then there's gonna be some that like to eat stuff that they shouldn't, and we'll have to navigate each of those, on their own.
Yeah, but they're not gonna get the stuff that they shouldn't hear though.
Well, we're not going to source it for them and be their drug dealers, but if they go somewhere else, then,
Can you live with that reality?
Yeah.
I don't know. Warren always asks, like, what if one of our kids doesn't want to work or something? I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know. I mean, they have to work. Like, they have to.
No, there'll be an evolution of when they want to rebel and eat candy, but they're all going to get older and then realize, wow, I was so blessed and lucky to have this amazing food growing up. I didn't realize, how great this was. So unfortunately, there are some days when I forget to take all my supplements.
Yes, I know.
So if there were 3 supplements that you could press a button and I take them every day no matter what would those 3 supplements be? Because there's a lot of pills and there's different sections and sometimes I'm not perfect.
And I so lovingly give you like a quarter of the pills that I take because I know you have like a pill threshold.
Maybe like half.
Yeah, probably like half, but you have like a threshold, so I try not to pass that. So I have to be really intentional about what I put in there because I'm like, okay, this week, let's do this. We're focusing on metabolic health, or we're focusing on this, or longevity this week. So I really put a lot of thought into it, just so you know.
Thank you for
If you
that.
can only take 3 things, I would say vitamin D, magnesium, and fish oil.
Well, that was quick.
Yeah.
It's not glutathione, not NAC.
I mean, you're only giving me 3 things. Vitamin D is absolutely essential.
Yeah, but we get it. We have
everything.
sun. I get a lot of vitamin D in the sun, no?
But not enough, because I've seen your labs with and without. And you get vitamin D, especially now with fires and not going out as much. Vitamin D is super important. Magnesium, so important in so many biological processes. We know we don't get enough. And fish oil is so important because we know that people with an over 8 omega index have longer life, better brain quality, cardiovascular protection.
So on fish oil, we've gone back and forth. Sometimes we do the pill, sometimes we do the bottle that's like liquid. So what one is better?
Well, I've done a lot of research about this lately, and I've really landed, actually, when I met you, I was taking Metagenics, Omegagenics.
Yep.
And then I tried a couple of different options of cod liver oil, but I've really landed, there's a comprehensive kind of fish oil grading scale that I've looked at. And it's the Metagenics, Omegagenics is what I'm on right now.
But the con is that it tastes kind of weird, the aftertaste, right?
A little bit, yeah. Okay, so I find this really helpful. I know you weren't as excited about it at the start.
Okay.
So for red light exposure, so getting red light, blocking out the blue light at night, we all know that we should be doing this. You can wear the red light, blue light blockers. There's the red light phone trick. But I've found that you can actually do a red light filter over the whole TV.
Oh, yeah.
How did you feel about that? How are you feeling about it now?
I see the benefit. I think that turning the red light filter on at night for the TV at like 50 to 70% makes sense, but going to 100% on the red light filter, it really makes it hard to watch. So
it makes the TV completely red at 100%.
Everything is red, yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to like land on where that falls.
I think so this is an example of why like not everything in life is black and white. There's like a gray scale. So your preference, because this is how your personality is wired, her preference is to be 100% red light on the TV. And my preference is to get the most benefit from having the red light filter on, but still getting the most benefit from watching the show and like how the cinematographer shot something and the coloring. All that's out the window if it's 100% red light on the TV. So I think that the way we approach life, me being like always in the middle, you being extreme, that's been a fun conversation to have because it comes up a lot. You will say X is true, and I will say, well, just because X is true doesn't mean Y is not true as well. And then it's like a whole conversation. So yeah, red light I'm pro red light on TV.
Good.
Just not 100%.
Love that. Okay.
If you haven't done this at home, just go to your Apple TV settings, turn it all the way to 100% red light at TV, and you'll know what she's talking about.
When I met Warren, you were doing a lot of talent management, a lot of advising for different companies, a lot of just kind of different entrepreneurial. You were working with the tech company. You were doing a bunch of different like entrepreneurial ventures. But I have recruited you over to the health world.
Yep.
And you are now in a new role, CEO of Heavenly Heat Saunas.
Yeah, so I'm running Heavenly Heat Saunas. We have 2 of them here.
Yeah.
They are made with zero glue, which is a massive differentiator. And we're growing really quickly. And a lot of people, as soon as they do research, they realize, oh, I need a good sauna, not just any sauna.
Yeah.
So it's fun because now I'm more entering into your world a little closer. And that's what a lot of my day is. There's still a bunch of projects that I have and you have, but that's the first thing that we get to do together. And we have a lot of exciting ideas for what that could look like. I like it because we're branding it as, with your help, thinking through how to brand it as like a really high-end, top-tier, health product, longevity products. So, think either Goop or Erewhon or Apple or Equinox, but for longevity products. So I want to be the most expensive and the highest quality.
Yeah.
So, we're having internal debates about, okay, well, let's not raise the prices too much. Like, let's keep, the margin slim and just get it to as many people as possible. Because it is nice having that as the ethos, but you can expand faster if you ramp up the margins to what the market is like. So it's an interesting, fun journey. But we have a shoot coming up. We have a new sauna coming out, the Eco, which is smaller than the one person. It's great for condos, apartments. I think, Jonas, we're talking to you about getting one soon. But these new Ecos heat up so fast because they're so small, and they're amazing. Just an amazing sauna. So they're super low EMF. It's not easy to make a sauna with zero glue, I've learned. But Colin, our partner, has done a great job, and I'm excited for everything we're doing.
Yeah, I've tested so many health products, and it all really started, I just wanted a sauna.
Well, we had one when we were dating. Didn't you have one at your place?
I did. I had a Clearlight sauna.
A Clearlight, okay.
And then, as I got deeper into the research, I'm like, okay, this one uses wood glues. This one is off-gassing VOCs. It was beautiful, and that was fine. But when we left, I actually gave that sauna away, and then I wanted a Heavenly Health. And now here we are.
Yeah, or Heavenly Heat sauna.
Yeah, Heavenly Heat.
Yeah, because you had already known that they make theirs with no glue.
Yeah, it's been a known thing in the industry.
Yeah, so Bob, the original owner, back in 1988, he started making these, and to his credit, he built a really great brand and was selling, a handful every year. And then Colin bought it a couple years ago or so, and then we partnered with Colin, and now the team is growing, and that's what we're building. So. But that is all under the Heavenly Health brand. So what are the next couple things that we have in the works if you want to share with people?
Yeah, well, the super fun part is I just get to throw out ideas, and then you guys do a great job of executing it. So, red light panels are super exciting because there's a lot of reasons that people are doing it wrong in the industry for optimal health. I know that we want to build a better Faraday cage. This one's a little bit hot that we have.
Yeah.
So Faraday cage is like an EMF blocking cage around the bed.
That's tricky because the better the cage, the less air gets in. So we're toying around with a lot of creative ideas. We're probably not going to do hyperbaric oxygen chambers.
Yeah.
That might be
cold plunge though. We have that demo one outside, but just a really high quality cold plunge.
Yeah.
It'd be great if we had a husband and wife setting, so that the wife setting, it heats up to a warmer temperature, and then on the husband setting can be you guys can be 35 just every day of the month.
Yeah. No,
I love that idea. I just came up with it right now.
That would be great.
Yeah.
We'll be sure to take that into our notes.
Okay.
Yeah. One of the shows we've watched is Alone.
Oh gosh.
Which you are a little annoyed with because it does feel like every episode at this point is either, oh, I miss my family, or, oh, I need to catch a fish.
Yeah. But, so Warren always asked me, would you go on Alone? Obviously, my initial reaction is no, because I have a lot of things to do, and I just don't want to. I don't want to be going on any reality shows. But it's great because they're eating wild caught blueberries. Yeah. They're catching fish. They're freezing, so it's lots of hormetic stressors out there, lots of cold therapy. They have to build their own fire. It's kind of healthy. It's like going back to caveman days, right? So. Yeah,
and especially when people do catch a really big fish and then they open it up, it's wow, that's got to be amazing. And the water is clean and the air is clean, so there are elements of that show that are really cool. If it was up to you, would we have twins right off the bat or not twins? Good.
Twins.
Okay, hopefully, please pray for twins. We'd love to have twins.
As efficient as possible.
Just twins, and then another twins, and then another twins. Okay.
3 twins, and then we're done. Why, when I leave, do you order nitsa?
Well, do you want to explain what nitsa is? I'll explain. So, before I met Kayla, I went through a lot of experimenting with my diet. And I did carnivore diet for over a year. So I didn't have fruit, vegetables, bread for over a year. During that time, I think on month 10, I realized after being at a social event, wow, this supreme pizza is not horrible for you if you don't eat any of the bread. So I would start occasionally eating some pizza if I had to, and I just would only eat the topping, the cheese and the meat, because it was from an animal. So when we got married and she saw me eat pizza, you were like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm not eating the bread. I feel great. I don't feel sluggish, not eating the gluten. You were still not happy that I was touching the gluten, but I'm like, it's not a big deal. It's not gonna bounce on me if I touch it.
Actually, we talked about this, and it actually is.
Okay, yeah, well.
No, because remember when you put the burger and then you took the bun off, but I said it had already been contaminated with gluten?
Yes, but I wasn't eating the bread. It had just been touched. But that is so extreme. That is hilarious. I don't.
Wait, well, but when did she saw you eat the pizza?
I don't even remember when you saw. So it's called nizza because instead of pizza, I put the N on for no bread. So it's pizza but no bread. So nizza. So I'm like, hey, like if I eat half a pizza, I'd feel sick. I'd have to take a nap. If I eat a whole pizza, no bread, I don't feel that bad.
Yeah, but how come when I leave and then Nitsa's ordered?
Well, who's gonna make food for me? And I have to make food for myself. And it's a rare opportunity. I have to take advantage of it. So if you're not here making us amazing steak for dinner, I'm like, oh, I haven't had nitsa in like a few months. I'm gonna throw on Gladiator 2 and eat some nitsa and have a good night. Because you don't like watching gory movies with me.
I know, but
you
when
realize
is pizza just going to be in the past?
you realize you have a husband who's healthy enough to not eat bread from the pizza. Like that's pretty, like, and I'm moving in the direction every day more and more healthier and healthier. So I'm trying.
When is Nitsa just going to be canceled?
Okay, what's wrong with nitsa? Name
Okay.
something. Assuming that all the ingredients.
Processed.
How is it processed?
It's the salamis.
Okay.
Processed.
Okay. So let's not use pepperoni. Let's use sausage, maybe.
The cheese, I'm sure, is processed. It's not like it's like raw, amazing cheese. It's like, who knows what that cheese is?
Assuming I'm trying to find all organic nitsa. I haven't found it yet, but assuming.
Exactly. See.
Yeah. Well, I know. I don't do it all the time.
There is that one. I did help you try to like find an organic nitsa place. I said if you absolutely have to do it, you should get this one because it's organic.
Yeah.
But then you said something like it's a bad one or something, or no?
It just didn't taste good. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I also coined. Did you notice on the interview this morning? I threw out my 3 longevity tips. Named
Thrifty 3.
the Thrifty 3. Because
that?
we're gonna get this question a lot. It's so expensive to do all this stuff. I'm like, no. Warren's Thrifty 3 is sleep, doesn't cost anything. Go to bed early. 2 is go on walks, just walk, doesn't cost anything. And 3 is eat healthier, which costs something, but not really, because when you compare it to like a number 1 at McDonald's for $12, you can actually get.
How do you know it's $12?
I'm guessing, I don't.
Okay.
Can you put a screenshot of how much a number 1 costs at McDonald's?
What is a number 1?
Everyone knows what a number 1
No,
is.
I swear I don't know a number 1.
If I give you $1 million, you don't know what
I
number 1 is?
swear I do not know a number 1.
It's, okay, what's the most famous burger from McDonald's?
A Big Mac, right?
There we go, it's the Big Mac. Number 1's a Big Mac.
Oh.
See?
Okay.
So number 1 is $12. So yeah, Thrifty 3, sleep, walking, and just eat better.
Yeah.
You don't have to go crazy and eat like the Wagyu steak, like grass-fed, whatever. You can just eat a hamburger meat, which is relatively cheap compared to, getting something else, like Taco Bell.
Or salmon. Why? How did Taco Bell enter this?
Because the people that are curious about the Thrifty 3s are the people that are eating Taco Bell that are like, oh, it's too expensive for me to, eat healthy.
Okay, all right.
We got to think of fun things like Thrifty 3, so then we got to coin good terms.
No Thrifty 3 for me, because it's actually it would be like Thrifty 5.
Okay, then what's 4 and 5? But people got to start somewhere,
Yeah. No, I agree.
So I have a question about parenting. Mm-hmm. I'm thinking through how we're going to teach our kids to look at food the way we look at food. Mm-hmm. And one thing my parents did with us when it came to alcohol is every one of us kids, when we turned 16, we gave a presentation to my whole family, all other 7, because I was the oldest of 6. And we said, hey, here are the principles of alcohol. Here's what alcohol does. Here's what the Bible says about alcohol. And after we gave that presentation on our 16th birthday, my parents let us have a glass of wine or drink alcohol in our house if we wanted to, as long as my parents were there. So all of us kids did that presentation, and then we kind of didn't have a stigma where we got to college and then, oh, I can, drink, my parents aren't here. We'd already been drinking with them during dinners. Maybe half a glass of wine, I mean, maybe like once,
well.
I mean, it wasn't abused at all. Maybe like once every 6 months, we'd be like, yeah, I'll have a little bit. But that's the whole thing. It wasn't really a thing because we had access to it. So do we do something like that for our kids where it's like, you can have some Halloween candy, but you got to give a presentation on what sugar does to your body and the problems it's caused for so many people in America. I'm just saying that could be a route we go with our kids.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely love the educational component.
Yeah, just an idea.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see. I feel like they'll see enough presentations from us or me, but
They'll see you talking about it, but we gotta dumb it down so they can understand it. I like the fuel in a car, that analogy, higher quality fuel.
yeah, that's a good one. All right, well, thank you, honey, for joining me. I love you, and I am appreciative of you being my partner in this longevity.
Your husband, not your partner.
Well, I know, but I'm talking about, yes, you're my husband, obviously, but we're also like partnering. I don't know if we'd call it husbanding through
Oh, all the other business stuff?
the longevity stuff, you know? It's so, I think who you choose to be your partner is so incredibly important. You know, if it would just simply not work if you wanted to like sit at home and like eat chips all day. Like that would never work. So I'm super grateful that you don't. And it's so fun to be able to hold each other accountable. Can't wait to bring in the first biohacking longevity babies.
Yeah, it is hard to hold you accountable.
Is there something you introduced into her life? Because she clearly introduced a lot into yours. That's a great question.
Yeah, what did I introduce into your life?
TV.
Well, it's not TV, it's the notion of unwinding and
Yeah.
relaxing at the end of the day. Because you would work till you fell asleep and you would
Yeah.
wake up and jump right into work. I am much more, I need my punching time in the morning. I'm gonna get ready for all these, calls and meetings. And then at night, once I'm done with work, unless it's an emergency, I just don't do it until the next day.
Yeah.
So we will then, after dinner, occasionally either read together or watch something good together. And that's new for you because you haven't really allowed yourself to rest at night and wind
Yeah.
down from the day.
Yeah, I mean, it was totally new, like having a stop point kind of, like, and then just doing relaxing things. So we'll have dinner and then go on a long walk and then either watch like a show or read something. Now we're doing sauna again at night, which I really enjoy that before we go to bed. About 2 hours prior to bed, we'll do our sauna session and then we'll...
I kind of introduced you to like apples. You don't really eat apples before I...
That is true, yep.
You were a mono eater. You were eating the same thing every meal.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm like, wait, we had this for dinner last night. Let's change it up. And you're like, why would we change it up? And I'm like, I'm bored of eating. I can't eat the same thing every day. I'm not a freaking dog. Like I gotta some variety in my life. So
Okay, you love variety.
I introduced variety.
I didn't think about variety before. Now we get like these farm boxes with all this variety, and then I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job of variety right now.
Yeah, no, you're moving in the variety direction for sure.
Good. Variety direction.
I had to have introduced you to others. I'll think of other things I introduced you to,
Yeah.
but I can't right now. All right, I love you.
I love you, honey.
I'm gonna go work. I'll see you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.